Hello everyone, TARDIS Guy 123 here again, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Ark in Space, a 4-part story from very early on in the Tom Baker era. Actually, it's his second story, and it features the Doctor, Sarah and Harry on a space station called the Ark, which is basically orbiting Earth, and after solar flares hit. So basically the humans planned for this, sent them up into space, so that their race survived the solar flares. And while they were asleep, an alien species called the Wirren got on board, cut out their alarm clock system, and destroyed, and basically planted their young in there before dying. So basically, a new generation of Wirren is being born when the Doctor, Sarah and Harry arrive. And I do quite like, in the first episode, how it's just them three. It's a very good setup, and I think it's very interesting just because it really is about only them three. We don't have any supporting characters or anything. So it's just them three on the Ark. And I do quite like it, actually. We get to explore the dynamic between them three. And there's a great line in between the Doctor and Harry, where basically Harry does something, I don't remember what, but the Doctor says, "You're improving, Harry." And he goes, "It's entirely due to my influence, of course, you shouldn't take any of the credit." And I think it's such a funny line. It's such a great line from Tom Baker. It's probably one of my favourite from the episode. And there's another one later in the episode between the Doctor and Sarah, where she's in the conduit. And anyone who's seen this episode will know what I'm talking about. And he's basically gives her encouragement by saying you're useless and whatnot. And she's quite hurt by that, and it gives her the courage to push on and whatnot. And then he just kind of like says it was all a ruse and whatnot. And it's a great moment between the two characters. I think Liz Sladen and Tom Baker played it so well. So yeah. Also, there was the thing about trying to think. The supporting characters are quite good. I mean, there's no real bad actors in this. There aren't that many of them when you think about it. So there are a couple that last quite a while, but they don't last long. It's mainly I think his name's Rogan and Vira and Noah. Those are the main three. And Noah's really the villain of the well, you could call him the villain, but he does save the day in the end, in a way, I guess. So he blows up the rocket. Also, so that's quite good. And Rogan sacrifices himself to save the Doctor. Now, that's a good scene, but I think it was more there just to not necessarily get rid of him, but there wasn't really much point, because it wasn't really him redeeming himself, because Rogan had never really done anything bad. So it just seemed to be there for no reason, and Rogan hardly knew the Doctor, so he didn't really have that much reason to save him, other than the fact that it's just, I don't know, I think it was a good scene, it was a good way for him to go, but I just didn't see there being much motivation in saving the Doctor, other than the fact that he's a good guy and will help and whatnot. There's no real redemption there. But yeah. So other than that, there's no real flaws, and that's hardly a flaw anyway. This is one of my favourite episodes. It's probably my favourite Tom Baker episode. Although he does have loads of good ones. He also has quite a few ones that are not so good, but yep. So that's more down to the writing, though. It does seem to slip after a while. And after all, if you're doing it for seven years, then you're bound to have the off day and whatnot. But yeah. So on other topics, the model works fairly good. You do get this. I love the clean white environment, the sterile and whatnot. It's just, it works really well and contrasts quite well with the green of the Wirren. And yeah, I also, some people find minor niggles in the fact that it's obviously green bubble wrap. But actually got to remember at the time, bubble wrap was only just being made, so not many people would know what it was. So at the time when it was shown, not many people would have just passed off as, oh, it's just bubble wrap, because back then they wouldn't really have known what it was. So it makes it a bit more scary and whatnot. Not necessarily scary, but realistic. Like, well, you know what I mean. See it. And model shots are quite good from outside in space, looking at the arc and whatnot, and the silence of space as well. Because the shot where the ship explodes, it's actually realistic, because when you think about it, sound wouldn't travel in space. So when the ship blows up, it doesn't make a sound. Whereas often in other spaces, if something blows up in space, you get a very loud bang. But yeah, it's not necessary. It's just a bit more realistic. So that's quite nice. See, not that I kind of like find it bad when things do that in other shows and whatnot. So like Star Wars, you can hear the explosions. That's not bad. That's just, it's just different that they done that, and I think that's quite good that they did it. So yeah, nothing more really to say about this story other than the fact that it's very good. If you haven't got it on DVD, I would recommend getting it, or if you haven't seen it, you know, find somewhere to watch it. I think there's a special edition of it out now. I've got the normal edition of the DVD. So yeah, it's definitely worth the watch, I think. So thanks for watching, everyone. See you next time with the review of The Seeds of Death. But until we get to that, bye everyone.